I'm going to start with a roll call. I'm here. Arthur Dash, he's excused. Varun Kohana, he's here. Darren Lopez, here. And Michael Benedetto. So I wanted to pause real quick. Is everybody's title on this agenda correct? Member at large, youth organizations, student director, seniors director, and member at large. Is that all correct? All right, so public comment.
None.
Yes, Mr. Kuzma.
None.
Nothing? All right, approval of the meeting minutes from June 30th and September 3rd, Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness meetings. So direct your attention to the draft minutes that I've handed out. We'll start with September 3rd because that's the oldest, and I apologize. No, I'm sorry, June 30th because that's the oldest. I apologize for how late these are because I had forgotten the June 30th that one time. September 3rd, this is the next meeting from September 3rd. But June 30th, fortunately I took some pretty extensive notes during that meeting. So if you recall, we had Linda come and speak with us about the, her People Street project that she would like to do. And she gave out some information. And then we had some discussion around minutes. And then we talked about the in-pavement lighting that we want the city to put in instead of, to amplify the rapid flash beacon they've put in at Yarmouth and Chatsworth. Or put in a hawk system, which is a good example of a hawk system is at the corner right here. I don't know if you've noticed it. Yeah, the flashing lights that are above the thing. There's a hawk system right on this corner. And that's a $100,000+ installation. And let's see. We did a red line document, and unfortunately I did not attach the red line document, so I'm out of compliance, I'm sure, in some way, shape, or form. Then we changed it. Oh, but you know what? I do have that letter that was changed, and I passed that out to you in this one. Right? Yeah. So this is all, this and this are both of the letters, so you should have Sergeant Egan is the first one, 10-3-13. And then below it should be the Ken Perusman letter, 8-6-14. So the Sergeant Egan is just an example. This went out to multiple people in the city. Actually, both letters went out to multiple people. Does everybody see, does this look right? I know it's been a long time, but remember we talked about the web page. We put in first prepare for the worst is our slogan. Then we have our mission statement here. Okay. Should I move to the next minutes? Are we all in agreement? Yes. Next minutes? Okay. So September 3rd is a little more anemic, but we had the same amount of time in the meeting, roughly. We were 1 minute apart, if you notice, which was weird. The June 30th ended at 7:40, and the September 3rd ended at 7:41. So I think I'm getting good at being consistent. And so this is the one that Dave came to. And unfortunately, Mr. Kuzman was not able to film it or be there. But Dave had been asking for money for the disaster preparedness fair, of which we ended up giving, or we voted to give, the full $500 for the disaster preparedness kits. And I was there. They gave away all of the kits. It went over well. Yeah. So, and I was very pleased to see how many kits they were able to buy with the money. They had a ton of kits. Then the food as well. We gave them the full food. And there was, during the Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair, the line for the food was, super long. It was all the way.
That was because they couldn't,
Because they were hungry.
yeah.
It's always
They
this.
wouldn't leave.
Yep. All right.
What I thought was really good was you had to go through Englanders camp to get the ticket, to go get the kit, and it worked out really well.
All right, so we good with these minutes as well? Okay, any public comment on the minutes? No public comment, okay. All right, so I have a motion to approve from Maroon, so hold on. Do I have a second? All right, so approving the minutes for June 30th and September 3rd as they sit. All those, raise your hand. All right, so we've got a discussion on the committee and council's prior letters. That's number 4 on the agenda. So, the reason why I broke this out to be 2 pieces, so notice the next item on the agenda is to talk about approving a draft letter, right? And I think I gave out the draft letter, maybe I messed it up. So who has this one? Yeah, the one with the bold. Did you get this one? Yeah, Mr. Creedy, with the bold top? Okay. This is the second item. This is the next item down on our agenda. It's this guy. What we're working with now is the one without the bold, and it's a bunch of stuff that's all stapled together. It's 2 separate letters that were sent out, right? So it's this guy. So this is what we sent out last time. So notice, now if you recall, we had a pedestrian hit at the food truck event. That was the spark that ignited this whole entire thing. This person was struck by a car as they were trying to cross the street right there.
In the crosswalk.
In the crosswalk. The person was essentially walking across the street, and the car was trying to make a, from what I understand, it was a right-hand turn on Yarmouth and go up the street. Most likely they were there to try to park their car. They did not see the pedestrian in the crosswalk, and they actually struck him. LAPD was called, a full, all the things that they do was done. They ended up writing a report, and that ended up coming to me through a circuitous path, but it ended up with me. So we laid out our desires, and so notice the last little bit here on this first letter. Therefore, the Granada Hills South Neighborhood Council is formally requesting that the Community Traffic Services Unit provide a traffic services officer or reserve officer to provide assistance for the food truck events with regard to traffic flow and pedestrian safety. The GHSNC would request that at least 1 radar speed trailer be placed along Chatsworth to remind residents using that roadway to maintain the posted speed limit. So what did the city do in response to this letter and to our desires? They put up a rapid flash beacon. They put a rectangular rapid flash beacon in place. So did we ask for that? No. Okay, next letter. All right. So my family and I attended the food truck event, and I'd also had heard through several different stakeholders that, hey, people are crossing the crosswalk, but cars aren't stopping. So I went to go see this for myself, and sure enough, I witnessed that occurring.
What's on your phone?
Well, the next time I decided to film it because I made some calls and tried to get some traction with DOT, and I got nowhere. So notice. So got nowhere with that. So ended up videotaping the next food truck night, and in that videotape, you actually see somebody pushing a baby carriage across, and a BMW comes like. He stops, of course, but he's like literally this far, right? And it happened over and over and over throughout the night, throughout the video. You can see it. So we wrote this second letter saying, okay, thank you for what you've done, but it's insufficient. And we provided a kind of a small treats on these rapid flash beacons, how they work, why they work, what they do. So, looking at that as a summary, that's 2 strikes, right? Swing and a miss, swing and a miss. They haven't done anything that we've asked for. And if you recall, Ken Feruzman, who's the city engineer, sent me an email, and he actually sent it to the board saying, Mr. Trammell, we will be putting in a full stoplight. That's it, right?
Tremendous support.
Right. And that was after this second letter went out. So the response, and that's the second swing and a miss. We sent this letter out, and their response is to clamp down completely. And to get rip out the rapid flash beacon that costs $17,000. Rip that out and put in this stoplight, whatever it is. So knowing that literally the stoplights over here will now be 100 yards apart in succession. What are we going to do about it?
Will they be set for certain times? I mean, can you request that they be set? I know they can set them.
I'm sure they can.
So if they do put a stoplight in, can you put in a request to have them
I forgot.
more green during the day, and unless they hit the buttons, because it will have a pedestrian thing on it, won't it?
I'm sorry to stop. But Mike, you were my first volunteer, right? For notes keeper?
No.
Oh, I thought you were my first volunteer. I need a volunteer notes keeper.
But you don't want me.
My notes are terrible. It looks like Egyptian hieroglyphics.
He's a student.
Okay, they're pointing to you. I'm sorry.
So,
You have to use a really expensive pen.
I know they can set them, and they can time them for
So just take down just general.
there is the most traffic.
Yeah.
You know, they
Just
turn.
what
You can ask that on Friday nights
Sally wants
they
to know about this.
turn on and off more often, or they're more susceptible to the pedestrian button
Right.
that they push. So if you can make them pedestrian little button more susceptible, I guess. I don't know.
So
Friday
more
nights,
sensitive.
more sensitive on Friday nights, and the rest of the time, unless it's pushed, it turns. I know they can set it.
Okay, so I guess
So
the question is,
that
can
could
they
be in your
set?
next letter to them if,
You want
I don't know, what do you guys think? Would be good.
She wants to know if they can make the pedestrian button more sensitive during
I don't
the
think-
food truck nights.
And the rest of the time.
It's
just
congested
keep
there
it-
on Friday nights anyway.
Just keep it always green the rest of the time, unless it's pushed.
But I don't think they'll do that.
No, I don't think it works. I don't even think, in some cities, the pedestrian button doesn't even work.
Actually, there's a web page you can go to and they fix it like that. That was amazing.
Well, some of them are intentionally don't work.
Yeah, people break them.
Well, no, the city
Well,
doesn't even have them hooked up.
That's bad.
Well,
It's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
yeah, but I guess it just depends on the situation. But as far as Friday nights go, I mean, it's congested there anyways, and people in the neighborhood know to avoid Johnson on Friday nights. But if it saves one life, it's worth doing.
Did they already, are they in the process of
I do not know because I have zero visibility into DOT. They don't.
No, but is there like any like site construction, any like, no,
Nothing yet.
nothing?
All we know is that we got the email from saying that there will be a stoplight. By the time that you have protocol and paperwork to push through, it's probably going to be about 6 months before we have any kind of installation. Now, to stop the process, I don't know if they're going to stop the process and listen to us. Because once the ball's rolling, then it's just going to delay everything more.
It's still like, the last time it was like a less expensive, but and we got it done like that. Right. So this is like $100,000, like tax money that we don't need it in that area. You know?
Well, why? When you said we don't need it?
Because in my opinion, the right thing to do would be to install something that's not. It would be just as effective as a stoplight,
Okay.
but it's not on all the time, and that would be what for us. And like the lights right in front of the school.
Well, if I'm correct, I think Chatsworth is timed at a certain speed for all the stoplights. So, I mean, and my theory is, in my opinion, if that stoplight saves one life, it's worth it.
So you would like to have a stoplight?
I would either it could be a hot light or a stoplight, which is going to be about the same thing.
He said stoplight.
I do.
Well,
I do believe that it's going to like help save life.
well, then I'm not worried about the cost and you know what fruition does it bring is that one day it's going to save somebody's life.
Yeah, I understand.
Because from my understanding that even with the hot lights and these other type of lights, 90% of the motorists do stop. But when it comes to a stoplight, you're going to get a better result.
Yeah, you're going to get 100%. We have a public comment, and I forgot to put.
No, that's all right.
Go ahead, Mr.
Informal is okay. I agree with Darren. The stoplight there doesn't hurt anything. It won't impede traffic. They're all set up so if somebody's coming up from the other way, it's pressure sensitive to know they're there. If nobody's there, the light stays green unless somebody pushes the button or pulls up to the limit line. That's how all the stoplights work now. And as soon as somebody's pulled up to the limit line, the pressure sensitive thing that they put in the cement picks up the signal and tells it somebody's waiting to go across. You need to start your cycle.
Put those in.
Yeah.
Well, they do it on every single light they put in now, and all the old lights have been retrofitted to the system.
Yeah.
It's the smart, whatever they call the smart street system or whatever they call it.
We can't assume that they're going to do things.
No, but
Well, no, I think with a stoplight now, it is part of the whole package that they all work the same way. So, but anyway, the bottom line is having an extra light there is not going to hurt anybody traffic-wise, and again, it's probably going to save some lives as long as we have a food truck night.
have you ever been on Chatsworth when the school lets out?
Oh, yeah.
So it's backed up anyways.
Chatsworth is a mess.
It's a mess.
From 2:30 to 4.
As soon as the kids are let out of school here.
There's cars everywhere.
I mean, it might even regulate some of the traffic a little bit more.
Oh my! I
Really?
I turn on White Oak to go home, and at 3:30 the other day I sat at White Oak for like 2 lights before I made a left turn to White Oak.
So it could possibly regulate some of the traffic a little bit more.
So
during the day. And at night, I think we don't have enough information from the DOT to even send them a letter to say, oh, we like something else. I think we need more information from them of what sensitivities are they going to put? Is it going to be timed? Have they done a study with the stoplights according to the other stoplights here at Zelza versus White Oak? We don't know.
well, okay, so that's a good point. So here's the thing: is we're on discussion regarding the committee and council's prior letters. So, do we feel as a committee that we're fine to move on to the next thing where we discuss what we're gonna do, well, we are, but what we're gonna do, right? Because we can let this fail or table or whatever. I mean, that doesn't matter. I would say let's move to the next item, and then we discuss formally this letter that I've put together, and any changes you want to see, right? Because that's what I've brought. But if you guys have a better idea, and it sounds like you guys might, you can change.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to having some type of. I think you're right. Even a hawk system is going to be better from what's there now.
Right.
I agree with you. They did fail, but they attempted something.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like, okay, here's
Exactly.
yeah.
Here's some sunshine candy, landfill money.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't think it makes a difference if it's going to be a hawk light or a stoplight. I don't think it really.
Then it would come down the cost. The traffic light is what, 100,000?
More.
130. Hawk light is how much?
100.
And those strips around that light up, what is that around?
30 for the whole system. So I don't know if they'd have to upgrade that system that's there, but it's between 30 and 15,000. It could be somewhere in there. I know it's a little more than 15,000.
I forget where it was, but I've seen that over the weekend. It was impressive.
Yeah, they work really well. Yeah, it's all the way across the thing. It's flash, 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 flash. So, and that's the reason. So notice on this prior letter, that's the reason why there's a whole paragraph and citations. So I included citations of prior traffic studies on the last page, right? Miller, Rockdoor, George, 2003 flashing crosswalks, right? And the Lighting Research Center was talking about the New Jersey Department of Transportation study on these systems, where they found that they are effective, right? They're not perfect, but they are effective.
So unless Chris is
exactly, unless there's some political reason why they're not effective. Then
and we'll just have to close that bridge when we come.
If we're getting something that's more reliable, I'm all for it.
So do you feel that, because all of us are non-DOT people, right?
Right.
So what do you think fits the community's needs more than anything? Do you think that stoplight would fit the community's needs?
The community,
or a rapid flash deal?
community need, because we are public safety. The first thing is safety. That's the main goal. That's our agenda, safety. And if we get better safety with the stoplight, I'm for the stoplight. Because no amount of money is going to replace someone, especially if it's a young child and the whole family has to suffer from it.
Right. Mr. Kuzma?
You know, we have the new Granada Hills Community Plan, and one of the main focuses of the Granada Hills Community Plan is to focus on making the Old Granada Village area and all other business areas more pedestrian friendly. This is one of the main goals of the community plan, is this pedestrian friendly business relationship. And if in fact the community plan is taking that goal to create more pedestrian traffic in our business areas as a goal, then I think having a street light there is only going to help work with that part of the community plan that really wants to make that whole area very, very pedestrian friendly. So hopefully we're getting past the point where it's just Friday night, but every day of the week that it's pedestrian occupied.
No,
And in which case having a light there fosters that goal of making it pedestrian friendly. And again, as a stakeholder, and what I saw too, and remember, I was one of the people that said to you, I've been driving up there and watched people drive through when people are still in that walk and you know, the California stop kind of stuff. And You know, that just means that what's there is not effective and the stoplight is effective.
What if, because there's 3 stoplights in a row, people start avoiding driving down Chatsworth and
I don't-
or deflect into the houses and streets behind this
Residential
to
streets.
go
I
around
don't-
it?
Get around.
The only people that deflect off of Chatsworth are the people that want to talk on their cell phone while they're driving, and they drive down Los Alamos or Kingsbury and talk on their phones, so that they don't get seen on the
I think
big
it's the
public
local
street.
residents that use them.
Hmm?
It's the local residents that use the resident streets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're, being in this area, you know this area, you're going to avoid those areas, the chats. Okay, now, Joe's Cafe is, on a weekend, it's an hour and a half wait just to get a table.
We always just skip it. It's too late.
But people do wait. People will wait an hour and a half. People parking across the street and using that crosswalk. And I seen it this Saturday. Because
Did they press the button?
they press the button, but I also see cars go through. Yeah. So, if, it's not just Friday nights, and it's a growing community. I think we should think of the future of something, planning for something a little bit bigger.
3 stoplights in a row. Is that wrong?
Yeah, I know.
It's not going to be a problem.
We don't have enough information.
Okay.
It's not there yet,
Well,
so
well,
we
they,
don't.
Yeah.
well, they said no, Mr. Kuzma.
Van Nuys Boulevard by the courthouse. Van Nuys, Sylvan, Friar, 4 blocks in a row, each one with a light. It doesn't seem to create
That's not
any
a-
more of a problem there.
But those aren't double lane streets. Those are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
They're
Van Nuys
more than
Boulevard?
double lane. They're 3. Van
No.
Nuys at the
If you
city
count-
hall is huge.
Yeah.
It's much larger than 2
True.
lanes. That's a.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm sorry. I'm just saying that.
This is a 2-lane street. It's never going to grow. It's going to stay its same size, and there's going to be no change to the street.
But what I'm
itself.
talking about is you're talking about having 3 lights in a row, 1 block after another. And there are lots of places, and the one that I can think of most prevalently is Van Nuys Boulevard by the courthouse that has
3
4
lights.
blocks in a row of stoplights. And it doesn't seem to inhibit traffic. It seems to still flow just fine, even with that many lights in a row. So I don't think that Chatsworth, with probably less than half the traffic that Van Nuys Boulevard by the courthouse gets, will have a problem having 3 lights in a row.
Well, we don't know that. I mean,
I'm
no.
saying if I compare it to the other situation that exists, it's
Theory.
highly unlikely in theory that 3 in a row would create a problem for us.
I think we should ask for information.
That's a good idea.
Okay,
And
so
how
we're
it
going
can
to
be
put that down
set.
that we need to.
Yeah, and if it's going to have one of those, what did you say, time sensitive?
Well, they have pressure sensors that they put in the
sensors
street
that
when
we
somebody
wanna
wants
know
to
and
go.
request that they have the pressure sensors and then make sure that they have the pedestrian things
Well,
and all that.
Mr. Feruzman is he's
I
no
know.
dummy. I think he knows his job, and I think they do some type of study before they start.
They have.
I've actually witnessed them doing this stuff.
Yeah. So
When I was doing my videotaping, there was
Someone
DOT
else?
across the street doing
Will they give you an answer? I mean, will they take the time to answer
They
for us?
it.
have.
Sometimes. We'll see. Depending. If I get.
Well, they're part of the government, aren't they?
If I get Mitch Englander's office involved and others involved and I demand some kind of response, then yes, we'll get something. But realize that they're facing the same ridiculousness that we face when we get assaulted for every little thing that we say, do, or think as a council. The city is amplified. There are tons of lawyers, crackpots,
Oh, yeah.
you name it, that are trying to undermine, to mess things up, to create issues, and to sue the city.
Okay, so let's take it from that point. Okay, so somebody finds out that all this has been going on, and then somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, that's the problem. From their point of view, when I did that video survey,
Yeah.
and I made it public information, and I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just so if somebody got hurt, they're gonna pay.
Yes.
I agree with that.
And so
If
now
the city doesn't do its job, they should definitely pay for somebody's.
now they're doing overkill.
Good.
Well,
I'm fine with that.
yeah, I'd rather have them spend the money in my neighborhood than someone else.
That's DOT. Ken Friesman is our main city
Well, I
engineer.
didn't know if there's anyone, I know somebody conducted the survey, I wasn't sure who it was.
So
I'm pretty sure. I'm going to say I'm 90% sure it's DOT because I also had heard they were going to do the survey.
well, even when they put the park, it's still. I think. Yeah, it is. I think if we just ask for more information, voicing our concerns about traffic flow, and how is it going to be solved? I don't think necessarily we have to just beat this thing down, but
Right.
But there is a point to the fact that, some people will avoid going down there altogether because there's multiple lights now. Because I was just thinking about when my son went to Patrick Henry, I know a few moms that live in my complex. I manage a 70-unit complex. And these moms had even the stoplights numbered. And they knew exactly which route was the quickest way to school. So there's something to be said for that as well.
But see, I have to go down Devonshire and go on White Oak just to avoid Chatsworth when I come home, because I'm teaching when I get off, when the kids get off. And
I
so,
use something on a mission.
Yeah, I don't go
Or
down
sometimes I
Chatsworth.
use
it's too busy.
Chatsworth because if you're going at the right speed limit, those lights are turned.
Okay. Well,
You can always see if you get an answer.
yeah, we can always ask.
Send one to Mitch.
Well, so let's move to the next item on the agenda, right? So this is just a discussion.
Okay.
We have an
And-
inquiry here.
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So are we gonna make
Right. So well, let's look at the letter that I put together for us. And this was just my example. And all this really is that I'm putting here second request to place an in-pavement lighting on the rectangular rapid flash beacon that's already there at the corner of Yarmouth and Chatsworth. Right? So we learned that the DOT intends to remove it and put in a full stoplight. All feedback thus far has been negative against placing the full stoplight, but that's not true anymore. So let me see that. Sorry. So that has to be struck right away. The all feedback, because that's not true. In this very meeting, we have positive feedback. So I'm saying, therefore, we're sending our request a second time in the hope that LADOT and the City of Los Angeles will listen to the people who live and work in Granada Hills. Please see the request below. And so I reiterated our last letter, right? And that's it. And and I'm sorry,
Are you gonna actually send this one?
well, I'm actually, so the reason why I brought it the way I brought it to this meeting was just this. Do we really want to go on, I mean, we're already on record for this very thing. We already said this. And to keep saying something to the city over and over again basically shows them how powerless we really are, right? That displays in great detail how paper tigers, we're just simply paper tigers. They don't really listen. And I've yet to see them listen.
Yeah.
So send it to Mitch.
Oh, these all went.
Ask him to do the legwork and see how far he gets.
Well, the fact that he's the one who put in the rapid flash beacon in the first place, he's the one who championed it and actually ran it through the main Los Angeles City Council. Maybe that would work.
I mean, you could always tell him, I'm sure he has a copy of the letter saying you're putting in the traffic light. So so maybe you could just ask him to, ask one of his, people to look into it and see what they can come back with us for. They come to our meetings, they do checking on stuff.
And we've already said to them, we already talked to them about this, and remember time you took advantage of it.
No, you have to, any of their people you have to email a couple times a month. Or, especially about a week before the meeting, I found that if you email them with your request, saying this was sent in, weeks ago we left a request, and Mitch will send you that form, so usually we'll look into it, and then you send them an email. Something you would like them to speak at the next meeting, and regarding this information, and if they can let us know.
And that's a very good.
So let them do the legwork.
Well, what we need out of Mitch is somebody to explain why we haven't been heard. Right?
There's your person.
Rather than send another letter.
Yeah.
That route.
There you go.
And you're a stakeholder right now, letter.
I know that. I haven't voted on anything. I'm
You're
just
not
giving
voting.
you my input.
So I like that. So,
Let Mitch do it.
our notes
If
taker.
time permitting, I know he's really busy, and there's a lot on the agenda for tomorrow. But if I get a chance to talk, I'm going to be seeing him tomorrow. Mitch. Yeah. He's going to the, yeah. If I can, and he has time, I'll talk.
Okay, great.
Good.
So we want to speak with, so have the chair email Mitch Englander, Tanya.
Well, and ask if Tanya's gonna be at the meeting.
Right.
And we can give her a list of our concerns to
So
give.
have her give a report on the.
Ask her to give, have her give a report on the letters and ask her if she can look into these items that we would really like to know, and can she present it at the next meeting? And
Well-
and then you email her a bunch of times, and she'll look into it.
Okay, I like that,
It's
because
less work for you to do.
I've not liked sending a third letter, because like I said, swing and a miss, and then a third strike. And what do we do? Just keep on sending letters until we get tired. And then
It's
just
one way you want to look at it. Maybe they're not strikes, maybe they're foul tips. And the last one, you keep fouling off, and you're still in the batter's box.
Okay, foul tip, foul tip.
Well, at least you responded with something.
It's true, you did.
So, I mean, because they know, it was just a matter of time when something was going to hit. Now it's just a matter of time when something's going to hit hard.
Right,
Because
because
the pedestrians are using that, and they're more accessible to getting hit now because they're feeling more confident crossing.
It's a false sense of security. Yes, it's generated. It does not. It shows up at night, but because of the way it is, I think, and I've driven that street when it's on, and I kind of go, like, and realize, oh, wait, that's
Yeah.
good stuff.
And well, sometimes the pedestrians are still hard to see, so.
It's false security. Does that strip of lights work as well during the day?
Yeah, I think it does. Well, it's not as visible than it is at night. That's true.
Well, yeah, it's just, but it's still noticeable. Because
You can really see them sometime go down, Zelza, down by the college.
yeah, by Northridge.
I know if you're
Right in front of,
I mean,
the high school
Plumber.
Is it Plumber? Yeah, it's really a good light. And you travel it once or twice, and you're very aware of it being there.
There has been people hit it.
That's the reason why they put it in the lights.
No, with them.
With the
Really, with them?
Probably,
Self-security, or
yeah.
Did they push the button?
Yeah. It was a hit and run. Probably about a year ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that can't be avoided. That's going to happen. But I think when you were filming, there was like 3 close
Oh,
calls.
yeah. Way too, more than,
Yeah.
way too many.
It's a whole multiply. So it's just,
You could have foul tips in there.
I mean, it doesn't bother me if they put the stoplight. It really doesn't. They put the stoplight in, and I think it's
It's sort of bulletproof,
not bulletproof, but
better proof.
yeah. We have a better percentage. Yeah, we have a 99% chance of something not getting.
Okay. Well, so the second request is already wrong, as I stated, because we I've said all feedback thus far has been negative. Well, that's not true. In this very meeting, it's now become positive. So I would say that I would move that we do not send this letter.
I see.
So actually, I need somebody else to move.
I move that we don't.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay. All right, so all those in favor of, what would you like to do? In your motion, do you want to make it a table, or would you like
Well,
to
let's make it, let's
table
take,
pending information?
Well, yeah, table information, but also, let's take Sally's suggestion and then start emailing her. Let them do the footwork. And we get to stay on the results.
Right, because I frankly have already asked Ken for information, we've gotten nothing. But better to have Tanya.
We can Tanya, we can CC
Do
Ken,
Mitch
we can
and
CC,
Tanya.
we can CC Mitch, we can
Usually
CC, I mean, once you do one email, you can hit a lot of people. Yeah.
No, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about Tanya as a possible, but I don't know her very well, and I don't know.
She's charging for us.
Yeah, so I've never.
If it gets, don't get a response, I go back to Megan.
Yeah, maybe.
And Megan has responded to me quickly.
Okay, good idea. We'll do that.
Because we were talking at the street fair, she said, I had a couple of issues with my street, with dead trees, and I was getting running around, she goes, email. So I emailed it, and I was like, okay.
So you want to make that part of the motion, that we don't send a letter and we put together
Make
an
it
email?
mail.
We'll just say table this motion until more information is obtained. Just leave it at that. Leave it open.
And then we can just do the email.
Yeah, that's the more information part of where we're at. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so all those in favor of tabling the motion as written at number 5 on the agenda, pending more information from the city regarding the stoplight, raise your hand. So all those in favor of tabling the agenda item 5 until we obtain more information from the city regarding the pending stoplight. So raise your hand. Good. All right. That's it. I'm not going to torture you guys anymore.
Oh, wow.
Well, hopefully Mitch will come through and decide to with him. Let's see what happens. And then hold on to your letter in case it doesn't.
Well, I'm seriously against repeating myself to people, especially if they're not paying attention.
Well, I applaud you guys for being so concerned about that area because, you know, it's important. It's an important part of our communities.
Well, I think Mr. Cleveland had the idea of it's a growing part of our community. I think it's going to keep growing, from what I understand.
But the food trucks getting less and less though.
But that's okay, but it's I'm not, who cares
About
about
the food truck, okay.
Food trucks are, eventually will start to fade.
They're gonna fade and then
Yeah.
something else, yeah.
But the businesses are starting to grow a little bit. You know, Joe's Cafe, there's another restaurant going in. Joe's Cafe is good.
Was he taking over Veggie Delight? Sad to see Veggie Delight go.
Yeah, but there's another, where Christina's Hair was, it's all boarded up right now. I think there's a restaurant going in there right now.
All right, so now we're going to have closing remarks and adjournment. All right. Any closing?
I don't want to write myself down.
You good?
Don't forget to vote tomorrow.
Gotta get it further. What time they open?
8. 8
Is it 8?
Might be depending on the location.
I hope it's 7 because hey, work.
It's on your ballot.
And I just I have everything. I have everything memorized.
Let's see. Don't forget about, and I had one other thing. Oh, LA Fire called me about a certain may end up moving in closer. But like I said at the last meeting, there are a gazillion chances to go to the surf right now, all over the valley.
Country Club.
Country Club, yeah. That one's over. That one ended last week. But the next one this month, I believe it's happening relatively close to us. I have to look at
But if we can get our own, that would be the best.
Yeah, we've done one before. This would be good to do too, I'm sure. We did about 30 people. We had about 25 to 30 people trained last time. Very good. All right, so we're adjourned at. Oh wait, I think we got fishing. Yeah, I'm beating my old time, aren't I? And even started later than this. But I only had one item on my agenda. See, that's being. That's right. All right, so what are we? 7:20.
But I can see your point. It's put on the right side. It's good to be more efficient.
Just keep what you got. And then next to it.
Well, that's okay. Go ahead.